Well, okay, that worked. Good early afternoon. I'm Andy Andrews. This is the Blue Plate Special. We are live from Orange Beach, Alabama, here in Wisdom Harbor Studios at the Wharf. And the Wharf, it's sunny outside. The Wharf, home of the massive Marlin statues and the life-sized escalator statues. They are just unbelievable when you see them. I really hate passwords. I mean, why can't everybody just be honest and we not have to deal with passwords? I've got so many passwords, I can't get in my phone half the time. Did you know that SB, her entire job is to just like walk around and be a repository of passwords? You know, what's my password for this? What's my password for this? And she knows them. But it's just like, it's crazy. Hey, Teresa Roller. Hey, how are you doing? Brendan Blair, how are you doing? Jeanette McNeil Groves from Arlington, Texas. Debbie from Nebraska. Cornhuskers. Are the Cornhuskers playing football? I don't think you are you? Oh, well. You know, really. The Cornhuskers hadn't played football for many years. Ooh, I'm sorry. I apologize for that one. Let's see. Who else is here? How do you like my shirt? This is my shirt from Sand Dollar Lifestyles. Sand Dollar Lifestyles right up here, the cornerstone there of the Wharf. And they're kind enough to allow me to wear their shirts. And so I want to just tell you about them. Hey, Matt, and I'm like an old person, I guess, because I think that things should be on the front. But no, everything's on the back now. So, this beautiful shirt, I have this shirt because I really, really like this shirt. But you can't see it. It's, the back of my chair is seeing my shirt right now. So anyway, I had Matt take a picture of it. Matt, could you show him the picture? See, I love that. Red, white, and blue crabs. Anyway, so there's people here hanging out in Orange Beach watching the waves. Boy, there's not many waves today. It's pretty slick, which is the way I like it. I like it calm. It's easier to fish. So, Lori McDonald, good morning from Carthage, Tennessee. They're from Salina, Texas. From Franklin, Tennessee. Hey, Dustin. So a bunch of you guys coming in, and passwords make your brain swell too. Yeah, well, man, me too. Oh my gosh, it literally drives me crazy. I mean, I see, what's your password, and I just want to not do it. I don't want to know that bad, whatever it is I'm trying to get into. Grand Bay, Alabama. Jewel, hey, Grand Bay. That's Grand Bay is a cool place, I think. Anyway, I'm glad. So somebody in Colorado, really? Hagen Mac, you're in Colorado with 4 big forest fires. Sorry. But remember what Smokey the Bear says, only you can prevent forest fires. Who else from El Paso? The Brandons from El Paso. Well, have you guys seen the podcast that came out this morning? The podcast with Dr. Barbara Mbiesa, episode 106 of The Professional Noticer, is already creating a stir. itam.org has sponsored a lot of the Professional Noticer episodes, and she is such an amazing story that I said, Barb, you have to be on the show. And so I get her to tell some of the stories and all about, but this is a woman who, she's not just successful in an industry, she created an industry. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you the story here. You just go and make sure you're watching the podcast. You can watch it on video, or you can listen to it either way. But Dr. Barbara Mbiesa is our guest this week. And if you are on Facebook, if you could click that notification button, make sure that we are able to notificate you when we are on. And if you're on Instagram, there's something to click there. Hey, Instagram. Hi, Twitter. All you guys on Twitter, I appreciate you being here. The Brian Back in Brigade. And on YouTube too. So and I know a lot of you go back and forth between something and YouTube. And so if you're on YouTube, at any point, click that subscription button, if you will. Man, I watched the latest Gulf Coast Nation video, and I'm just like kind of shocked. You know, Polly and I watch these videos of Adam and Dylan and these sharks that they're catching, and I don't know whether to be excited or nervous. But there's one, and it's on one of either the last one or the one before that, where Adam's turning around this big, like 11-foot tiger shark, and he's like underwater. They got pictures underwater of him and that shark, and he like smiles at the camera, and of course the shark's smiling at the camera. It's creepy. Hey, Judson. Irene, how are you doing? Irene, I feel like I need to apologize. Because with Joey Jones on the other day, the whole show was about Alabama, and I kind of ragged you a little bit about LSU, and it occurred to me afterwards that you guys won the national championship last year, and we didn't even make the playoffs. So why did I even say that? I don't even know why that even came out of my mouth. I guess because I like you, but I'm sure SB will like beat me up when I get off the air. Chet Calhoun, great podcast with Dr. Barb. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I love doing the podcast, interviewing people, and having these conversations. And we're not like pre-arranging the questions or anything. We're just having a conversation, because those are the kind of things that I like to listen to. I always kind of secretly wanted to be Johnny Carson, and I always thought, that's very cool. Just sit there and get to have conversations with interesting people, which is kind of what I'm doing now with you, interesting people. And Nancy says, "Go Tigers!" Don't start with me, okay? I'm not even going to introduce you and Irene. All right. Having Joey Jones on was great, because I remember Joey Jones playing, and I was kind of shocked, to tell you the truth, because Joey is not tall. He's kind of muscular, but he's not tall. But he ran a 4.340. That's just unreal. So, I ran like a 43.40 at some point. I'm slow as Christmas. But I got a question for you today. Just something I've been thinking about. We're not going to take a ton of time today. I appreciate you joining me. But, you can't help but look around and see that people seem to be angrier. Is that fair? Just in general. I almost threw a fit because I couldn't get my password. But people in general, just out and about, watching the news, which I don't much, but some of it you just can't avoid. Walking through the house, walking through the room, or people talking about it. And so, do you guys find that people are getting angrier, and knowing that nobody's on their front porches anymore? What do we do about this? Any ideas? I believe, I was talking to a friend the other day, and he said that young people today don't have the conversational skills that some of us do, of our generation, and that is, I think that is true. But it's also, I think it's a cautionary tale. I'm not painting it with a broad brush. I'm just saying, kind of, or maybe I'm painting it with a broad brush. Generally, they don't have the conversational skills of an earlier generation, and I think a lot of things went into that. All right, here's some of the things that I think went into that. There was a point, and I don't know what it was, but there was a point where some architect, started designing houses without a front porch. Right? I mean, if you watch the Andy Griffith Show in the evening, sometimes on Sunday mornings or Saturday mornings, they sit on the front porch, and people walk by and they say hello, and some of them come up and sit down and talk for a little bit. I agree. Conversational skills are lacking, and the masks don't make it easier. I agree. But I'm talking about who wrote that down? What name is it? Just DeWitt says that even family members are more angry, and you have to walk like eggshells around them. And I think that is true too, and I think that a lot of that is we have kind of somehow, at least a couple of generations, have lost the art of conversation. And here's why I think that has happened. I think that a plethora of media and games and social media and telephones and videos and all that kind of stuff. Hey, Ben Isaacs. Ben Isaacs, you stay right where you are, because I'm going to talk about you in just a minute. But I think that this plethora of all the media, all the stuff that we have, has somehow combined to keep younger people from learning the conversational skills that we have. Kevin Perkins is on here. Kevin and I were talking not too long ago about how we were around our parents. You know, our parents, not only did they have front porches, but they would have dinners. You know, people would come over for dinner, and they weren't always people that everybody agreed. You know, it wasn't just the people. I mean, because whenever that first architect created that house without that front porch, somehow people started realizing, yeah, we can go in the backyard and we can put up a privacy fence, and we can only talk to the people we want to talk to. We ain't got to learn to talk to people with whom we disagree. And so I think our parents, though, they had these discussions. And as kids, hey, Jerry Anderson, as kids, none of us, we didn't have a television that had any more than 2 channels. There were 3 channels, but most of us only got 2 of them. There were no smartphones or no videos. And so we would sit on the floor in the dining room or in the living room. We'd kind of sit off to the side, and we knew the rules. The rules were, if we were quiet, if nobody noticed us, we could sit and we could listen, because it was very cool to listen to adult things. You know, listen to them talk about. I mean, they would. You know, sometimes you hear somebody cuss. It was incredible. But if we made any noise, it was like, okay, go to bed. You know, it's bedtime. Oh, wait, it's bedtime. I mean, that was what my mom would do. You know, as soon as she noticed us, it was bedtime. And so Christy and I learned to sit very quietly. And now, I think there came a time where anytime adults were going to talk, they would say, okay, we've got the kids, we're going to put them in the room and put a video on. And so the kids are going to watch a video in there while we eat. Or the kids are going to, go over there and eat with the video while we... But there's no opportunity. I mean, even in the car. I mean, we grew up listening to our parents talk on long trips because there's nothing else to do. What else are you going to do but talk to your parents on long trips, or be quiet and listen to them talk? I mean, you can play car bingo. There's the Volkswagen. But what are you going to do? And now we have videos and games, and so I think people are getting madder and madder. And I think in general, people don't understand where to go to veer back together. If you look at some of the anger that is going on out there, I don't know what the end of it will be. Right? I mean, things are kind of bad out there right now, right? But this is not as bad as it could be. I mean, you think people are mad about statues? Wait till they're fighting about food. I'm just saying, somewhere along the line, we have to figure out how to get along with each other. Now, there is an answer. There is an answer. And I've thought about this for a long, long, long time. And Matt and I have worked on a thing that we put together. Because I wanted to do this where I could think and not just do it off the cuff. I wanted to tell a story. And it's a story that really happened to me. And I've never told anybody the story. I've told one bunch of the story, but I have never publicly told this story. And so tomorrow, I hope you're on our email list. Okay, tomorrow we're going to put an email out, and we'll post this, and it's a 30-minute story. So I would urge you, have time to watch this, and maybe watch it with your family, or maybe watch it by yourself first. I don't know, but I think this might be something you want to share, because I had something happen to me. This was 15 years ago this happened. I've never told anybody. But I have been so blown away for 15 years about this that I really didn't know how to process it. And I think the anger of the past few months has narrowed my focus to the point where I understand it a little better. And I think that the answer makes a lot more sense now. Okay, so anyway, that will come tomorrow. You'll see that if you're on our email list. If you're not on our email list, or just certainly subscribe on YouTube and put the notification button here. But we'll post it on Twitter and Instagram, and post a link to it. But if you haven't gone to andyandrews.com and put your email address in it, just do that. Make sure. So now, but I wanted to tell you that because that's been on my mind constantly. And Matt and I have been working on this to get this ready to put out. And what else? Oh, I know what I want to tell you. I saw Ben Isaacs is on here. Let me just tell you something. I love Ben Isaacs, and I'm aggravated at him right now. Okay, now I only get aggravated at people that I really love, but I'm excited about Ben being on here because Ben is, he is Ben Isaacs of the Isaacs, and I've known Ben since God was a boy. And with Ben and the rest of his family, these guys are they're unbelievable. I just can't tell you how great they are. They have, think of all the Christmas albums you've ever heard in your life. Think of all the Christmas albums that have ever been put out in the history of the world. And the Isaacs Christmas is the best Christmas album in the history of the world. I mean, I'm just telling you, go now. Go buy it now. Go download them now. Because even when Christmas rolls around, you're not going to get a better album for the rest of your life than that one. And then I find out that Ben and three of his buddies, they just kind of sing together. Now, one of them happens to be a guy named Jimmy Fortune, who Jimmy Fortune because Jimmy was the high tenor for the Statler brothers. When Lou DeWitt left, Jimmy Fortune came in. I told Ben the other day I was right in the middle of that. I say in the middle of it. I was working with them kind of with both those guys, and I had to really think because they had a way they wanted to be introduced. You name the awards and all, and then you go, please welcome entertainers on and off the record, Harold, Don, Phil, and Lou, the Statler brothers. And so when Jimmy came in, I had to think hard because then it was like, please welcome entertainers on and off the record, Harold, Don, Phil, and Jimmy, the Statler brothers. So I was thinking about it really hard. So here's Ben Isaacs and his buddy Jimmy Fortune, who Jimmy is just unbelievable, unbelievable voice. I think he's like the only songwriter ever to have won 2 CMA Song of the Years, 2 different songs. And then here's the upshot, 4 of them. Fortune, Isaacs, Rogers, and Walker. Okay, this guy, his last name is Rogers. And Ben, what is Walker and Rogers' first name? If you're there, let me know. Because I can't remember. Because I'm just seeing, when I look at you guys on YouTube, it's like Fortune, Walker, Rogers, Isaacs. And so this is why I'm aggravated at you. Because you got to have a name for this group. You got to have a name. And, I know you put Fortune first because, Jimmy is like, I guess, more famous than everybody. But, this is Joe Walsh was famous when he joined Eagles, okay? And so it didn't hurt his credibility or anything. But you guys, they have an album. It's called Brotherly Love. And the album is, it's just stunning. I was telling you, they did it in a live concert. And so it's these 4 guys. Hey, Mark Lowry here. Mark, have you seen the thing that Ben and Jimmy Fortune and Walker and Rogers have done? You guys need to go to YouTube. When we're through, go to YouTube and just put in Fortune, Walker, Rogers, Isaacs. And click on it. I think 5 or 6 of the songs are already there from this live concert. And I'm just telling you, they're incredible. It's Mike Rogers and Bradley Walker. So it's Ben Isaacs, Jimmy Fortune, Mike Rogers, and Bradley Walker. Mike Rogers, I think, plays with Craig Morgan's band now. Bradley Walker's from North Alabama. Unbelievable voice. And, Bradley Walker, Bill Gaither said that Bradley Walker had the greatest country music voice he had ever heard. And Ben told me on the phone the other day, just unbelievable bass. By the way, that song is on there, that Daddy sang bass, Mama sang tenor. And, I've seen that song done before. But every time I've ever seen that done, Mark, think about this. Every time I've ever seen that song done, it's somebody singing the lead, and then we go over here and this guy goes, Daddy sang bass. And then some guy over here does Mama sang tenor. But Bradley Walker sings the lead in this normal country music voice and then drops it down an octave and a half and hits the Daddy sang bass. And it's kind of stunning. But you'll see on YouTube, what else do they do? Lord, I hope this day is good. Jimmy does Crying, that country music standard. What else? What's the Vince Gill song? What's the song Vince wrote that everybody has at their funeral?
I'm not sure.
Come on.
Go rest high on that mountain.
Go rest high on that mountain. Everybody has that at the funeral. If I die this afternoon, please make sure that's done at my funeral. But the Fortune, Walker, Rogers, Isaacs group that I'm going to give them a name. I'm telling you, they got to have a name. So, hey, Rachel Gilbert, how are you doing? I'm glad you're here. Anybody got any ideas for a name? We'll name them right now. You really need to see them, though. But this concert that they do, you know, you've got the pieces of it on YouTube, and they're facing each other. Karen Wacker, how are you? They're facing each other. It's like four guys facing each other on the stage, and Bradley Walker's a singer. Mike Rogers and Jimmy Fortune play guitar, and Ben, of course, plays the upright bass. And what are we going to name them? We got to name them, but you have to see them. So we're going to kind of cut this short today. Mark, you want "If You Don't Know Me By Now"? That's what you want at your funeral. What do you want in your gravestone, Mark? What do you want to put on your gravestone? I'll tell you what I want on my gravestone. On my gravestone, I want them to carve, "I told you I was sick." So you want, "If you don't know me by now." I'm not sure I'm familiar with that song, Mark, but if they don't know you by now, at your funeral, it's kind of too late, isn't it? I think so. Okay, so I'm going to cut you loose. I want you to have a great day. Thank you for joining me. We're going to do this again Thursday. We're going to get together again Thursday and have another Blue Plate special. And so just be watching tomorrow for the... Mark says he wants to put on his headset, "This is the best grave I've ever been in." We'll do this again Thursday. Watch tomorrow for the email with the piece, the answer, I think, to anger for us today. I think it's the only hope, really. I think what I detail on this video is the only hope I can find for us. So, we'll see. All right? Hey, Gina Christmas. Merry Christmas. Gina Christmas, you need to get the Isaac's Christmas album. Okay. I love you guys very much. Thank y'all for being with me, and I'll see you soon.